If you're wondering about the details of G-Day, join the club. Join the club. So, got an email this afternoon from ESPN talking about spring games and the status of those for the ACC, the SEC, and everybody they have contracts with. Here's the email. It reads, the majority of SEC and ACC squads have opted to produce behind-the-scenes programming for their respective college networks instead of televising traditional spring football showcases. Details on dates and times have yet to be determined. 12 SEC schools have put in for original spring football programming. One school, Texas A&M, has scheduled its spring game, and that's going to be on April 19th. That leaves Georgia, LSU, and Florida as the three schools that we don't know anything about. And I gotta say, we're a month away from when this thing's supposed to happen. This really is kind of, Georgia's got to do better than this. People are trying to make schedules, make plans, but nonetheless, this is where we're at right now. Here's what Kirby said a week ago about spring games. He said, my approach has been that I like to have spring football game, but that's every year we make a decision based on where we are. We haven't even practiced yet. So it would be remiss if I said 100% I'm dead set we're having a spring game. I leave every option open. That's my 15th practice. So we can do what we want to do. We're planning to have a spring game. I've talked to Josh Brooks about it several times. We've had a conversation, but that doesn't mean it can't change. Last year, I think Kentucky didn't have any healthy defensive linemen, yada, yada, yada. He says, I know we have to get better and we have to go practice football. So when that happens, as it goes, we spread things out more over time than most people. We have 5 weeks. We have 3 practices a week. So we want to go try to get recovery and stay healthy and have really good practice. But I like spring games. I want to have a spring game. I think it's important because you allow kids to play that don't typically get to play. You sometimes allow fans to enjoy an experience in Athens that they normally wouldn't get, but I'm not ready to say that's 100%. Somebody's got to get it in gear at Georgia. Someone's got to decide what's going on. And I mean, like, maybe y'all have already said, y'all got to tell everybody what's going on. I mean, telling me, telling the fans, telling the vendor, people who own businesses downtown, people who have rented hotel rooms, they've rented Airbnb. Y'all, this is not good enough. I mean, period. And, y'all want to give me a call, give me a call. I'm not calling any person out. They can call me if they want to. But, like, ESPN can't wait around. I mean, no one from ESPN has asked me to say anything. They wouldn't. But, like, families are trying to figure out what they're going to do as far as G-Day. 100,000 people are at these games. And, to me, you have G-Day. And, if you don't want to televise it, then, that's your prerogative. But it looks like, and I don't know, it looks like Georgia has not really made a decision at all. It looked like they were having it. Josh Brooks made that statement, I think, in February. And then Kirby kind of says, I'm not totally sure. You never know what can happen. But, like, we're a month within the time at which this should have been settled. I mean, like, there's no reason for this to be this complicated. Just say you're not going to have spring. I mean, that's fine too. Spring G-Day. I mean, if you're not going to do that, then people can adjust. I don't understand this. Like, I mean, I don't understand. Like, it can't be everything, but it's the delay in notifying the public as to what's going on that I'm not sure I understand. I don't know if I follow the strategy there. Are they going to wait until a week beforehand to tell people they're not having it? I mean, the fan base doesn't always have to be there for the program. The fan base can make its own decisions as far as what they think is right. They can set their donations. They can, just because the program has had unprecedented success recently, which it has, doesn't mean they're always making the right decision. I mean, it's a great event, G-Day, but irrespective of that, I think someone's got to make a decision as far as what's going on. Like, it sounds, I think, like it's as I say it, it sounds like I'm like Dawg and Josh Brooks. I just think there's got to be a decision made. That's all. I don't think it's, like I got some beef with Josh. I don't. But I do have a beef with not knowing what's going on. I mean, people have. I just don't. I don't think your head football coach can say, "Well, we don't really know." That's not. I mean, we're talking about Kirby Smart here. This guy has got a meticulous way about him. He knows what he wants to do. I don't know that I'll be here on G-Day because I may pass away, But we got a plan, and there's got to be, a way to do things. Like, for instance, I'm just looking up things right now. Georgia plays a home baseball series against Arkansas that weekend. You don't think that makes a huge difference in the crowd at baseball? It does. They have softball is playing. Uh-oh, I clicked the wrong thing. I clicked soccer. I meant to click softball. So all of the other sports kind of piggyback off of G-Day. Why is it going to soccer? Now, I'm certainly clicking softball. Here we go. All of these things are just sort of an unnecessary. They're playing a home game against Auburn in softball. I'm sure that tennis is probably at home. I think I remember that being the case. So all of these sports that sort of draft off of G-Day, they won't have that capability. What about the fans who have booked hotels? What about the restaurants? Georgia Tennis is hosting Friday night on the 11th of April. They're hosting Texas. That's a big match for them. And then they get Sunday to have A&M. So I think, to me, I just don't, I'm not sure I understand why you wouldn't just say we're having it, we're not having it. ESPN, again, ESPN told Mark Weiser at the Banner Herald that, that Georgia wasn't going to do original content. So it's very possible. Let me read exactly what they said. Here's what ESPN told Mark Weiser, who did a very good job reporting this. Because when I read the email, I thought, oh, well, they haven't announced it yet. This is what Amanda Brooks, who works for ESPN, she's a spokesperson for ESPN, college football world. Amanda says to Mark, Georgia opted not to do a televised stream game or the All Access show option. So, in my opinion, there needs to be some clarity. And by the time that this video is out, there may be clarity. There may be, hey, G-Day is at this time, and we're doing this, and it costs this, or bring this with you for donations, or, but right now it's like, well, which is it? What is it? What is the, and I don't know. I'm recording this, in the afternoon. It's going to go up in the evening, but this is, ESPN and Georgia work together. They're hand in glove. You can't do a lot of things that Georgia's been doing over the last, however many years without, the revenue coming in from their partner, Disney, and that's ESPN. So they know kind of what they're doing, but they haven't let anyone know. I think that's a mistake. That's me. I'm sure y'all feel the same way. I mean, we need certainty in life. We need as much certainty as possible. And, scheduling a spring football game of which you've already announced the date. So the problem here is the athletic director has said a particular thing. The head coach has said a particular thing that's a little bit less concrete than the athletic director said, because he's a coach and that's what coaches do. And then now here we are a week after that, and we don't, their partner in programming is not saying that they're going to, it may be that Georgia, I may be reading this wrong, but they may say, oh, well, no, they were always going to have G-Day. That's not what Kirby said last week, but they're always going to have G-Day. We're just not going to broadcast it. I understand that. I don't understand not saying that. I mean, the communication has got to be a little bit, better, I guess you could say. And we all live in that world. Georgia basketball going to Wichita, about said Omaha, to play in the NCAAs. So congratulations to Mike White and all of them. That's, wrote about this earlier on Dawg Post. I mean, it's about time that program got to where they're at. They've definitely done a good job this season, certainly recovering at the end. But I'm not sure what's going on with G-Day, and I would like to know. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one fielding these questions. Thanks for watching.